What's up, meatheads? Coach Chandler here, and in today's video I'm going to be sharing 7 of the biggest mistakes I see lifters making, preventing them from getting the most out of their biceps workout. So if you're looking to build a pair of sleeve splitting pipes, then do yourself a favor, identify each of these 7 mistakes and put together a game plan moving forward that helps you get the most out of your bicep building workouts. Now, for the sake of being congruent to the general nature of my channel, I'm going to be showing all the mistakes and showing the corrections for these mistakes by using a kettlebell with a towel, the way I typically do my curls. But rest assured, all of these mistakes can be made and are commonly made with both dumbbells and barbells as well. So just parlay that into whatever preferred type of resistance you use and know that all the solutions will be the same. So number 1, first mistake I see people making is when they're doing their curls, they are overextending their humerus and internally rotating their shoulders. So what that's going to look like is having your elbows move back and out like this. So it's going to be kind of like this, all right? And that's just basically typical of someone either that A, doesn't know good form, or B, fatigue sets in and your body moving in the path of least resistance. So to fix that, all you got to do is make sure that when you are fresh, your reps are very crisp. You keep those elbows glued to your rib cage, stay nice and tight. And right here, keep those shoulders externally rotated, and make sure that while doing that, you stay nice and tight. If you ever see your elbows move out or your humerus, basically the bone right here, move back, you know you're cheating a little bit and not getting the most out of that curl. So mistake number 1, overextension of the humerus and having your elbows flare out from internal rotation of the shoulders. Fix that by keeping your elbows glued in and your shoulders externally rotated. Mistake number 2 is initiating your reps, especially in the beginning of the set when you're supposed to be fresh, and having clean reps with either hip extension or an arched back. We'll talk about the benefit of doing cheat curls later and how you can work them in for even more growth, but in the beginning of your sets, you want to have good, crisp, clean form. And that is not done by doing this right here. Either that or arching your back like that. You want to keep a good neutral spine, elbows tucked, shoulders externally rotated, and boom, right here. Control the weight in the path that it moves in. Don't let that weight control you. I'd much rather you do a little bit lighter weight that allows for you to better isolate and get your biceps to do the work or the bulk of the movement than for you to just do heavy weights and get less of the benefits that you can with your curls. So, mistake number 2, know when to do your cheat curl, and that's not in the very beginning. Save that for later. All right, mistake number 3 is going to have to do with what a lot of old school bodybuilders call peak contraction. At the very top of the curl, I see a lot of guys either not supinating, which is basically this movement here, bringing your palms up, or once they get here, they don't initiate that little bit of flexion at the glenohumeral joint in order to get the maximal contraction in your biceps. So mistake number 3 is limiting your overall contraction and doing so at the expense of that peak portion of the curl itself. So if you see yourself just doing kind of haphazard or kind of half-assed, almost quasi-hammer curls, then do yourself a favor and go a little bit further, even if you have to go a little bit lighter, by supinating at the top and bringing your elbows a little bit further out to get that extra little bit of contraction at the top. I tell myself, the cue I always give myself is to pull my pinkies into my armpit. That little bit of a cue dramatically helps to make sure that you're not shortchanging yourself by just curling right here like you would a hammer curl, but instead are coming here and getting that extra little bit of contraction at the very top, that peak contraction that a lot of those golden era bodybuilders talk about. So don't make the mistake of limiting your range of motion and skipping out on that peak contraction that you can do by having that little bit of supination as well as flexion at the top of the glenohumeral joint. Mistake number 4 is going to be just focusing on the concentric or the lift portion of the curl itself without putting any attention on the eccentric or lowering portion. The fact is, you have way more growth potential by going a lot slower and controlled during the eccentric portion of the lift than the concentric. Yet so many times in the gym, I'll see guys going really controlled during the concentric, looking good, and then once they get to that peak contraction, they just kind of do like a controlled fall. That is a big, big mistake. You are drastically limiting your growth potential by not giving the muscle tissue in your biceps the chance to have more of that stress and overall time under tension that you would get by lowering slow and under control. So instead of looking good by doing what we talked about and then just kind of like going here, come here, and go probably, if you really want to get some good work done, I typically like to go almost twice as slow during the eccentric than I do the concentric, all right? I'm telling you, the growth potential that you get from doing slow eccentrics is tremendous. So, whatever you do, do not shit or sleep on the eccentric portion of the lift. Crush that concentric, go controlled, but also do slow and controlled during the eccentric. I promise you, you do that alone, and all these other tips are going to pale in comparison to the benefits you get from correcting this one. Mistake number 5 is going to be exclusive to the guys training biceps with a pair of dumbbells. Now, a lot of times I see guys use dumbbells and their curl form might be good, but they tend to stick only with doing alternating work. And although each is fine, I'm a bigger fan of doing alternating work towards the end, almost like you're doing cheat curls, and that is after you do bilateral work. The reason I'm a much bigger fan of bilateral work is it crams in more time under tension as well as give you a greater degree of time under tension and stress in your core as well as your upper back to help stabilize the spine. Okay, so if you're doing just alternating work, then instead of doing that as the lead to all of your bicep work, stick it on at the end when you're already fatigued from doing your bilateral work or both dumbbells at the same time. I promise if you do that and stick with doing alternating work when you're already fatigued from the bilateral work, you're going to get a much bigger pump. And even when you do cheat curls with that single dumbbell work or alternating dumbbell work, it's going to make a huge difference in the overall cumulative stress that you place in your biceps that are responsible for hypertrophy. So instead of starting a set like this, going back and forth, which limits the overall time under tension you're placing in that muscle in each arm, start with the much tougher bilateral curls, get what you can there, and then once you're too fatigued to do regular good form bilateral work, then switch over to alternating work. Even at that point, if you're having to do cheat curls, you're still getting some tension and stressing your biceps, which will yield the type of stress you need to initiate that hypertrophy. So start off with bilateral, get good reps there, then end with cheat curls with those alternating ones. Mistake number 6 is going to be doing the same shit over and over again and expecting any different results. There's a common saying that I like in both training as well as in life. And that is, if you always do what you always did, you'll always get what you always got. Okay, so if you do the same weight, rep schemes, same movements, the same number of sets, you're always going to get the same results. So the simple way to get around that and to force more adaptations is to introduce different stimulus to your body via doing different weight ranges, different rep schemes, and of course different movements. All right, there are countless different ways to do curls to introduce a little bit different stress. All right, there's towel curls, there's incline curls, there's close grip supinated chin up. There's so many different ways to stress your biceps that aren't just your conventional regular curl. You can mess with the tempo. There's so many different things you can do. You can add pauses. There's a lot you can do. So why do the same shit over and over again and get frustrated about why you're not seeing new results? The simple solution here, do something different to force more of the adaptations that you're looking for. And the last one is as simple as it gets. That's the fact that if you're looking to build bigger biceps, that means you're looking to build muscle. And without proper nutrition and good quality sleep, it simply isn't going to happen. So if you're busting ass in the gym, but half-assing in the kitchen and in the bedroom, then you're doing yourself a disservice. Make sure to match up that hard, consistent training in the gym with good, sound diet that has you in a caloric surplus so that you're consuming more calories than you're burning, and make sure you're getting at least 7 hours of quality sleep that isn't being damaged by alcohol consumption, all right? So good REM sleep as well as good nutrition when matched with consistent training will yield the hypertrophy in your biceps that you're looking for. Hopefully that makes sense. Hey guys, thank you so much for checking out today's video. If you enjoyed it and have a suggestion for future content like this that helps me get you on the right path for achieving the goals that you want, then do yourself a favor and please leave that suggestion down in the comment section below. While you're at it, if you enjoyed it, leave a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and hit the alert icon so you never miss out on any future content that I hook you up with here every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And do not leave without first grabbing your free copy of the Kettlebell Cardio Blueprint by clicking on either the image that you see right over there to the right or on the pin link you see down in the comment section below. Appreciate your time, guys. Have a good one. Chandler.